something, when you've made a mark in someone's life, do not hide your light under a bushel. Accept that you've done well. There are many, many uncelebrated heroes out there. These are the policemen and women, nurses, doctors, our teachers, or anybody who serves others and serves humanity in the best possible way. You should appreciate yourself, because if you don't, who will? Do it yourself and always feel good about everything that you have achieved. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Jeroga.
Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha tena. Chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno nasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuonekana mtu anachukua.
Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe. Na kama haujui kusoma, uijaze na mtu mwingine. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia maslahi yako. Na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako.
Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process.
By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa unapiva.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, tonight, we have a story for you on today's cabinet meeting. The president did meet his cabinet. We have all the details for you. And in the world of business, Safaricom and its results, they did report a 1.7%. I'm sure a lot of you also want to find out what are the shareholders going to earn this year. I have that story for you. And in sports, I will be actually tonight standing in for Karen Kibet. KRU Simiyu Sak is one of the stories that we have for you. But first, let's have the highlights. A fast for Laikipia. Cabinet clears county to borrow 1.16 billion shillings for infrastructure development.
The names we're giving the opportunity to the party leader to say the names.
The decision time is near. Panel seeking Azimio number 2 hands over its report to Raila Odinga. And moving to create a third force. Independent presidential candidates mulling on modalities to support one individual. Our sign language interpreter is Anne Wangeshi. Now, moving on, the cabinet has granted authority to Laikipia County government to borrow 1.16 billion shillings through issuance of a domestic infrastructure bond. A statement from a cabinet meeting chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta Thursday said the approval was based on the Public Figure Management Act. The proceeds of the bond will be used to finance projects including water provision for agriculture, upgrading of markets, and upgrading of infrastructure.
Makes Laikipia the first in the country to be granted permission to borrow funds for development. The objective of the infrastructure bond is to finance implementation of projects including provision of water for agricultural production and improvement of the business environment by upgrading markets and town infrastructure. While chairing the cabinet meeting, the head of state announced that the cabinet had directed the National Treasury to continue implementing the fuel price stabilization program to cushion Kenyans, noting that geopolitics and various events on the global stage had constrained global supply chains, leading to significant escalation of oil and essential commodities. The cabinet noted that the food security situation had been negatively impacted by the delayed onset of the long rains, and the cabinet directed the Ministry of Agriculture to enhance access of the subsidized fertilizer, and also directed the Ministry of Water to fast-track the construction of dams, water ponds and reservoirs so as to enhance the coverage of land under irrigation. The cabinet also approved the sale and lease of the residential houses and commercial facilities developed under the Mavoko Sustainable Neighborhood Housing Program scheme, and the proceeds be channeled to the Kenya Slum Upgrading Initiatives. Also approved by the cabinet is National Spectrum Policy, which changes the framework for assignment and management of radio frequency spectrum in Kenya to spur growth in the telecommunication sector. The cabinet also sanctioned the review of VAT on tea and coffee for both domestic and international market. Also approved is the commercialization of public land to free chunks of land held by public institutions for agriculture production. The meeting also considered a number of bills of parliament, policies, treaties and conventions, and the progress report of implementation status of various priority projects with a focus on education, agriculture, healthcare, enterprises, infrastructure, energy, among other sectors to improve the economy. Ben Troy Njue for Prime Edition.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance coalition presidential nominee Raila Odinga has promised to unlock the coastal region economic potential through exploring the blue economy. Speaking in Kilifi County, Odinga said his administration, if elected in the August 9th general election, will be keen to also empower Kenyans in the Jua Kali sector that currently contributes 34% of the country's GDP.
The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party team was in Kilifi County as part of its series of meetings in the region. Let's get together and feel all right. Raila Odinga, who led the group, showcasing his political prowess in Kilifi County just 2 days after area governor Amason Kingi ditched Azimio la Umoja for Kenya Kwanza.
Bwana Kingi alijengwa na mheshimiwa Raila, akafanywa mpaka waziri, akafanywa mpaka governor. Asante ya punda ni nini? Lakini raundi hii tumuonyeshe hiyo mate. Tuko pamoja.
Yaende lazima alete kura 50% ya Pwani. Kura 50%. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiri ni kura 50. Na Mudavadi ameambiwa alete 70%. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiri wanaambia alete kura 70. Na Wachangula hatuwezi kuongea juu yake kwa sababu hana kura. Sasa wale jamaa ni wafanyakazi ya Ruto ama ni viongozi? Ni wafanyakazi wa Ruto ama ni viongozi?
Kwa sababu kazi hapa ndani ya Kilifi County.
The former premier promised to unlock the coastal region economic potential through pursuing adoption of the recognition of prior learning policy in Kenya. Leaders accompanying Raila Odinga urged residents to vote out leaders driven by self-interest.
Shida yetu ya pwani si uspika. Shida ni mashamba, ajira, uchumi, maji, mabarabara, elimu, afya na kadhalika, sivyo?
You can just sit next to me here, Usoma.
In Parliament, ODM MPs took a swipe at Kenya Kwanza, accusing them of deceiving Kenyans.
He's the one who said that BBI is all about creating positions. He has created positions now illegally through an agreement.
The other part of political deceit is that UDA opposition to BBI had nothing to do with sharing of positions. It was all about opposition to equitable representation, benefiting the big communities. But more fundamentally, opposition to BBI was meant to stop the proposed fair distribution of resources across the country.
Because if at the beginning they said that we are only forming UDA, we don't want coalitions, we don't want anything to do with coalitions, village parties, all those things, then they eventually formed a coalition. They said, hao wengine wanatafuta madaraka, wanatafuta mamlaka, they are looking for positions, blah, 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 blah. Now it comes out that they are also looking for positions. So when we tell them that they keep on flip-flopping, they tell us that it's only a fool who does not change their minds. But this is not changing their minds. This is erratic. We cannot afford erratic people at State House. That will be dangerous for this country.
Gishoki Washira, Prime Edition.
Well, all eyes are now on Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Coalition presidential nominee Raila Odinga to make public his running mate. The running mate selection panel, led by Dr. Noah Wekesa, has forwarded its report to Raila. Raila is on a 4-day tour of the coastal region.
The Dr. Noah Wekesa-led team had postponed the handing over of its final report to Thursday, hoping to physically meet Raila Odinga. But when it became apparent that Raila would not cut short his coastal tour, the team resorted to send him the names of 3 individuals that the panel felt were suitable for the number 2 slot.
You know, there's only a few days remaining, and his engagement in political campaign at the coast is the result of what we are doing today. We really hoped that he'll be here today.
Dr. Noah Wekesa, however, remained tight-lipped on who made it to the top 3 after the vetting exercise, insisting that the right to make the names public has been reserved for Raila Odinga.
The names? Yeah, the 3 names. The names, we're giving the opportunity to the party leader to say the names.
The panel concludes its work after conducting interviews on 9th and 10th of May 2022, submitting its report detailing the criteria and modalities used in the vetting of applicants.
Emphasis was laid on electability, capacity of vote, mobilization, transformative leadership, dependability, political tolerance, and technical expertise in political campaigns. The panel has recommended 3 names which have been submitted in order of priority.
Raila will, however, have to name his preferred choice before Monday next week, the 16th of May deadline set by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for submission of running mate names by presidential aspirants. For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Aching Oma.
Deputy President William Ruto is asking Kenyans to make a sober decision in ballot come August 9th. Ruto, who held a series of meetings in Kahawa West, Githurai and Roysambu on the outskirts of the city, urged locals to rally behind Kenya Kwanza, which also has solutions on how to uplift Kenyans struggling to make a living.
Deputy President William Ruto, who earlier had attended a cabinet meeting, led the Kenya Kwanza team to a series of rallies in Githurai, Roysambu and Kahawa West in the outskirts of Nairobi, wooing locals to support his presidential bid.
Mumesema tubadilishe katiba tuongeze vyeo ya viongozi ama tubadilishe uchumi tupange biashara yenu. Tubadilishe uchumi na tupange biashara yenu na tupange ajira ya hawa vijana na tupange mambo ya matibabu na tuondoe njaa. Wala wanasema tupange uchumi nione.
The team urging Kenyans to make sober decisions on the ballot box come August 9th.
Tuanze huku chini. Hapa kwa mtu ya bodaboda na kwa mama ya mboga na kwa mtu ya kiosk na mkulima mdogo hapa chini. Ndio tupande chini juu na kila mtu. Tuanze chini ndio tuende juu.
The group claiming they have an elaborate plan on how to uplift the livelihoods of millions of Kenyans in the lower economic spectrum.
Juzi tuliona serikali ikitoa statistics ya kusema uchumi wa Kenya unakuwa kwa kasi at 7.5%. The economy is improving. The economy is improving. Mimi nataka niulize nyinyi watu wa Lang'ata wa Nairobi, muna feel hiyo improvement?
Serikali ya county government ambayo tutapata itahakikisha kuna bilioni 5 inakuja kwa biashara za hapa chini. Hiyo itaweza?
Zainab Said for Prime Edition.
Still on politics, where independent presidential hopefuls in the August 9th elections are exploring modalities of forging a united front and supporting one candidate in the race to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. The independent aspirants who converged in Nairobi to set the agenda agreed to unite to form a formidable force that will mobilize resources and campaign for independent candidates running for various positions in the August 9 polls. The forum's chairperson Esther Dairu said they are a force to contend with.
With the August 9 presidential election portrayed as a two-horse race between Deputy President William Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, independent aspirants seeking seat want to be the third force in the country's politics.
So we are saying if you have 3 MC in one ward, please, the others should step down for the other, because what we want to have the majority in the county and in the national and the presidency. So it is achievable, but we are starting from the top.
The aspirants, through a unity of purpose, are seeking to choose and support one independent presidential candidate.
We have agreed that we are going to get one of us. Come rain, come sunshine. It is achievable because we have the will.
That person must have capability and capacity equal to the task to be the next commander-in-chief of the Republic of Kenya.
I'm ready to step down, either be the deputy or alternatively, so that we can put all the resources and energy and all that we have to one person.
The formidable force, according to the aspirants, will also mobilize resources and campaign for independent candidates running for different elective positions in the August 9 polls.
To see the strategies of how we can be able to mobilize, strategies of how to build capacity, because capacity is key. Unity is only where we can have that capacity.
We want to train the candidates in preventing election fraud, so that day nobody steals the independent candidates. We have experts who have been trained in that, and we are going to train our candidates and the agents.
Over 7,000 independent aspirants have been cleared to run for different positions in the August 9 polls by the Register of Political Parties. This even as they await a determination by the High Court on whether independent candidates can form a coalition ahead of the August 9 general election.
There is a leadership crisis in the country. They have lowered the bar of the presidency and the leadership, that other people are saying, let's come and salvage this country.
We are moving forward to ensure that the Republic of Kenya, the next government that you see, a double-digit economy is from an independent government.
We have a heart for this nation, that if possible, we can be counted to be in government. Change will come.
Meanwhile, the Registrar of Political Parties, Andy Ruto, says she has no powers to bar anyone from contesting the general elections, reserving such rights to IBC.
We are clearing a candidate to say that is holding a symbol that is not similar to that one of a political party, or another similar symbol that has been allocated to another candidate. But the issue of making sure that this particular candidate end up in the ballot paper is the work of the IBC.
The registrar has, however, warned those seeking positions on independent tickets to ensure all their documents are in order to avoid being locked out. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Safaricom reports a 1.7 drop on its year net profit. That and more coming up shortly after the break.
Our arts and entertainment industry has evolved over the years.
It is at such times that our destinies are written. Will we rise up in courage or die in cowardice?
Who are the movers and shakers in film and theatre? Get trendy as we review locally produced films and stage drama every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Cinemas and Theatre.
Brought to you by the Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya, Capture Africa.
Boresha maisha na bima. Kifo ni lazima, japo haitabiriki. Pata bima ya matanga ili kuepuka wasiwasi wa michango isiyo na maana unapompoteza mpendwa wako. Bima hii husimamia gharama zinazohusiana na matanga. Pata bima ili kuhakikisha yote yatakuwa sawa.
Welcome back. The government has assured the commitment to advancing equal procurement and education opportunities to people with special needs. Speaking during the Deaf Blindness International Conference held at the Kenya International Special Education, the Chief Administrative Secretary, State Department for Gender, Lina Jebi Kilimo, said, as part of building the capacity of those with special needs, the government has factored in the appropriate resources for learners with deaf and blindness.
The Kenya Institute of Special Education Thursday hosted the first ever Deaf Blindness International Conference in Africa. The Chief Administrative Secretary, State Department for Gender, Lina Jebi Kilimo, was the chief guest, stating that the government will continue supporting the training of teachers for learners with disabilities with the aim of achieving the one teacher per learner ratio.
The government has prioritized the provision of appropriate resources for learners with deaf blindness. The government continues to support the training and deployment of qualified teachers for learners who are deaf-blind with the aim of attaining a ratio of one teacher per learner.
Kilimo noted that the government is rolling out programs that will ensure no disabled person is discriminated against and that a policy on street families is being developed to ensure people don't take advantage of the vulnerable for their selfish gains.
As a government, we are also working at a street families policy to ensure that those who would be candidates on the streets, and we know very well that most people with disability end up in the streets. We don't want that as a country. There is a policy to capture all persons with disability and ensure that they are able to access other opportunities that the government has created for them, because we look to a country also free of street connected persons.
Fred Hager, a director of special needs education at the Ministry of Education, said the government will provide additional accommodation in schools to take care of students with special needs to ensure that they all have equal opportunities.
As government, ensure that all persons who are deafblind also have equal access to education, and that means that we provide additional reasonable accommodation in different institutions so that persons who are deafblind can also get access that right to education like their peers without disability.
Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
Chief Justice Martha Koome has challenged advocates newly admitted to the bar to adapt the alternative dispute resolution mechanism to help reduce backlog of cases in the court. The Chief Justice was speaking at the Supreme Court, where 302 advocates were admitted to the bar.
It was all smiles for 302 advocates as they prepare to join the new roles at the bar. Chief Justice Martha Koome, who presided over the ceremony, emphasizing the need for implementation of the Constitution's vision for social transformation through access to justice. Koome rooting for the multi-door approach to dispute resolution, including court-annexed mediations and small claims courts.
I congratulate all of you, and when I look at you, I'm very, very proud of you. I know you will be celebrating this great achievement, this great honor with your families and friends.
Parents who are joined the advocates taking time to reflect the sacrifices they've made.
And I'm so happy about the achievement of my daughter. And as you can see, she's an aspiring lawyer. She has succeeded this time to be admitted to the bar. And my prayer is that she continues like that until she becomes the next Chief Justice.
Shukuru Mungu kwa umbali ambayo Mungu ametutoa. Mtoto sasa amefaulu, nimesema asante na Mungu ambariki na muendeleshe vizuri. Asante.
Okay, my name is Velma and Jemima is my twin sister. I'm super excited today to be here and I'm just proud of her. It's a special day because it's been a long journey, but finally we are done. It's just a start of a long professional career that eventually I'm aspiring to be the next, another woman Chief Justice.
Sarafina Roby for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Sarafina, for that report. In the second part of our three-part series, Nipping the Bud, we'll look at how residents of Kipini area in Tana River County are using energy-saving jikos to mitigate the effects of climate change. Ruth Omboy was in Kipini and filed the following report.
170 kilometers west of Hola, the headquarters of Tana River County, lies this village, Kipini. We arrive at this homestead which acts as a factory for making energy-saving jikos. Members of the Kaloleni self-help group are busy at work. Residents here are farmers and livestock keepers, but the ongoing drought has jeopardized their farming.
Tuliingia hapa pakiwa ni msitu, tukaufyeka, tukaweka mashamba, tukapata miti unaiona na tukakata ile miti ya asili. Na baada ya kujua tumekata ile miti ambayo inatusaidia, ndio saa hii tumeanza tena kuipanda tena kwa sababu tumeona mvua sasa imepungua, na tukiendelea kupanda hiyo miti mvua itarudi kama vile ilikuwa, kwa sababu wageni hapa mvua ilikuwa inanyesha mpaka inafurika kila mahali, lakini kwa sasa hivi mvua imepungua kabisa, hakuna mvua.
Parts of forests here have withered into charcoal and firewood, but now the community has learnt a lesson.
Miti ambayo imebakia huku ni kama mikorosho peke yake, miti aina nyingine imeisha kabisa. Na hiyo mikorosho hata tumeikatakata mpaka tunaona hasa hata haifai tena. tukaambiwa tunaweza tukasaidiwa na kutengeneza haya majiko. Ndipo sasa tukaanzisha hii kazi ya kutengeneza majiko. Tukaenda kwa mafundisho, tukafundishwa, baadhi ya wenzetu walienda wakafundishwa, ndio wakaja wakatufundisha na sisi.
Kila memba tumesema tutenge kiasi cha eka moja ya upandaji wa miti. Nayo hiyo eka moja taipanda miti tofauti, sababu tunajua miti ndio huleta mvua na hewa nzuri.
The process of making the jiko is tedious and requires patience to bring out a quality product. Men and women join hands in the production of the improved energy-saving jikos, which are paramount in the restoration of natural resources.
Stage ya kwanza huwa ni kulainisha ule mchanga, ukae ukiwa umelainika kabisa, kisha baadaye tuweke maji, kisha tufunike, ukae hapo kwa muda, kisha baadaye tukutane, baadaye tuje tuangalie penye huko, tuanze kuukanda, ndio ushikane na maji, usikizane na maji, tunaukanda, baadaye tukitoka pale tunatengeneza, tunaingiza kwenye ile mashine ambayo tumefadhiliwa nayo ya kutengeneza. Kiingiza ule udongo kwenye kile kifaa cha kutengenezea, tunatengeneza, kisha baadaye tunaiweka kwanza ikauke kiwango cha siku 3. Tukate ule mlango, tushikilishe, tuweke hiyo mikono ya kushika sufuria, tuiweke kwanza ikae kabisa, ikauke kabisa. Ikiwa hivyo, tutafute kuni, tukusanye, tuyachome yale majiko, yachomeke kabisa mpaka yabadilike rangi, ndio hasa itakuwa imekamilika ya kuuza.
The clock is ticking fast, and Kenya's goal of achieving 10% forest cover by end of 2022 is almost at the blink of an eye.
Even at the village level, they are able to point out those issues affecting environment, like issues of wood logging. The communities are now empowered in a way that they are able to report any suspicious cases of wood logging. We need to do this restoration.
As you can see behind me, this vast land area was once a forest, but now trees are scarce due to logging. But the community is on a mission towards reforestation, starting with this improved energy-saving jikos.
And with the United Nations Conference on Climate Change set to be held in Egypt later in 2022, the big headache for the African continent is how to mobilize resources, key in helping build resilience to climate change.
Reporting for Prime Edition from Kaloleni, Kipini, Tana River County, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Kenya is seeking to assess the pest control initiative in India before making a decision on whether to import wheat from the Asian nation. The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Services KEFIS says a Kenyan delegation to visit India soon will inform the decision on whether to lift the ban on wheat import from India.
Kenya imported wheat worth 97 billion shillings last year, with the value expected to increase this year due to high international wheat prices propped up by the Russian-Ukraine conflict. The two countries account for 66% of Kenya's total wheat imports. Kenya has been considering sourcing wheat from other countries, and India, whose produce was banned by Kenya on concerns of disease and pest, is among them.
Wheat from India was actually banned because of what we call the Canoband. Canoband is one of the most dangerous diseases of wheat that does not occur in this country and many countries where we import our wheat from. And therefore, due to that risk and due to the importance of the wheat production in Kenya, we had to do the banning and actually prevent introduction of wheat from India.
Currently, India has the cheapest wheat globally, and millers believe if the ban on imports from the Asian country is lifted, it may help reduce the retail cost of wheat products in Kenya.
I think what is remaining is for Kenya to be able to send a team to India, and I think the Ministry of Agriculture is working on that. Very soon we'll have a team going to India to be able to evaluate that.
Meanwhile, avocado exporters eyeing the Chinese market may have to wait longer before shipment, as the Asian country insists on carrying out virtual inspections before allowing avocado imports from Kenya.
For now, we are in the process of inspection and audit of the farm, so that whatever meets the qualification, we are going to put them in the register.
This has emerged as Malaysia has expressed interest in importing avocados from Kenya. Benson Droba reporting for Prime Edition.
Safaricom has reported a 1.7% drop in its full-year net profit to 67.5 billion shillings, dragged by a 2.71 billion shilling loss in Ethiopia. This is despite significant growth in M-Pesa revenue, mobile data and fixed enterprise. Safaricom will pay shareholders a final dividend of 75 cents per share, pushing the total dividends payout to shareholders this year to 1 shilling and 39 cents.
Safaricom's net earnings, excluding Ethiopia, rebounded to pre-COVID-19 levels to register a 1.4% growth year-on-year to 69.6 billion shillings. However, net profit, including Ethiopia, dropped by 1.7% to 67.5 billion shillings.
Years into Safaricom's new strategy, the board continues to support the management in the business plans, recording strong achievements in this financial year.
Safaricom CEO Peter Ndegwa attributed the net loss registered in Ethiopia to the market conditions, but expects the firm's interest in Ethiopia to break even by year 4 of operation.
A lot of work is currently going on in Ethiopia with the aim of a full rollout of the network and commercial launch within calendar year 2022.
The growth in earnings was driven by M-Pesa revenue, which jumped up 30%. Mobile data revenue went up 8.1%, while fixed enterprise was up 16.9%. M-Pesa revenue crossed the 100 billion shillings mark to hit 107.7 billion shillings, up from 82.6 billion shillings from the previous year. M-Pesa now accounts for 38.3% of Safaricom's service revenue.
The 30.3% growth in M-Pesa revenue is attributable to personal payments, which include transfers and withdrawals revenue, which grew by 30.3% year over year, driven by improved business environment and customer growth. Business payments, which include the Lipana M-Pesa, C2B, B2C and B2B, a growth of 37.2% attributable to increased usage.
Safaricom plans to launch an M-Pesa Junior product targeting those aged below 18 who have access to mobile phones. Safaricom board has recommended a final dividend payout of 75 cents per share, which in addition to the 64% per share interim dividend brings to 1 shillings and 34 cents the total dividend payout to shareholders this year. Caroline Jenga for Prime Edition.
Now, a group of farmers in Kakamega County have started a stingless beekeeping venture. Now, listen to this. The beekeepers embarked on the venture after one of them chanced to taste honey from the stingless bee that was oozing from the cracks of his house walls.
While still a teenager, Mark Livaha was not aware that some of the wild honey they ate while hunting at Kakamega Forest could be produced at home, just like the common practice of rearing honey bees. As an adult, Livaha again tasted honey from his wall cracks and decided to start domesticating the stingless bees.
Wild, we get little honey than when we domesticate these bees. Because people were destroying the forest, cutting trees, falling the trees down, they eat honey and leave the brood there. But now when it has come to domesticate it, now you can't destroy a tree, because when you want honey, you harvest from your hive. That is one way of forest conservation.
The farmers resolved to start a stingless bee venture increased after researchers from the International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology, ICIPE, trained him alongside other farmers on how to domesticate the stingless bees.
una, alafu tunapack kwenye machupa, na wakati tunapopack tunaisivu vizuri, alafu tunai-label.
Last year, the farmers harvested their highest production yet of 100 liters of honey from 70 hives. The harvest is packaged in half and 1 liter bottles, which is then sold at 500 shillings and 1,000 shillings respectively.
Na nashukuru sana, hata mimi imenisaidia. Pia hata niko na mtoto wangu saizi ako kidato cha 3. Tena ni mmoja wapo vile aliona changamoto ya hii asali vile inaleta, na akaniambia mama, mimi nitakufuata pia ni kusaidie kwa sababu napata manufaa ya school fees bale.
Farmers who intend to start keeping stingless bees are asked to keep a keen eye on predators such as monitor lizards, chicken, and the florid fly, which invades the colony when it's still new, laying eggs inside that destroys the brood altogether.
Shaniletea na iweka kwa mzinga na inap mzuri na iweka mahali inatakana. Pia na ulinzi wadudu wenye wanaharibu.
During the drier days, the bees are fed on solutions that include sugar solutions, honey solution, and icing sugar. The group intends to increase the number of hives and tonnage of honey produced in Kakamega County from the current 300 metric tons.
Check the cracks of your walls. You just never know. FarmWise comes to you every Thursday. Now, moving on, CCI Global, the largest international contact center operator in Africa, has announced plans to open a new purpose-built state-of-the-art office at Tatu City. The venture will create more than 4,000 job opportunities for Kenyans. The latest expansion decision comes amid unprecedented demand for the company's young, highly skilled workforce in Kenya, which has swelled to over 2,000 agents in the last 12 months.
CCI Global, which is the largest international contact center operator in Africa, intends to provide business process outsourcing, supporting the whole customer lifecycle in both traditional voice interactions as well as digital. The latest expansion decision comes amidst high demand for the company's young and highly skilled workforce in Kenya, which has swelled to over 2,000 agents in the last 12 months. CCI Global embodies the global shift of businesses from congested urban areas to decentralized environments like Tatu City that provide live workplace solutions for employees and investors. Steve Jennings, founder and CEO of Rendeavor, says Tatu City promotes a dynamic and efficient work environment for CCI's global workforce. CCI's Chief Operating Officer Mark Chana said their core business was to provide responsive and innovative attributes that were vital in a fast-paced commercial environment. CCI's global facilities at Tatu City will be developed by Gateway Real Estate Africa, will consist of a 5-story custom-designed tower with training facilities and a career center to welcome new employees. It is scheduled for completion in the late next year, doubling the firm's capacity to more than 4,000 seats in a single location that will foster a strategic partnership between Gateway Real East Africa and Rendeavor, which spans commercial warehousing and logistics developments at Rendeavor's new cities in East and West Africa. Reporting for Prime Edition, I am Dutamo Kami.
Imagine being sandwiched between the whistling savannah and the rolling slopes of the Aberdares while kayaking or paragliding. That's what one would call a magical experience. Located along the Nyeri-Nyahururu Road, Lala Nasi Ranch has become a haven for holiday makers, honeymooners, and fun seekers. Irene Muchuma highlights the beauty of zip lining and quad banking in the savannah in this week's segment of Magical Scenes.
The Mount Kenya Tourism Circuit is one of the fastest growing tourism areas in the country. Already, the circuit is a well-established tourism sector with world-ranking ranches and hotels. The region is seeing the development of new establishments like the Lalanasi Ranch. The ranch sits between Laikipia and Nyandarua counties. Lalanasi overlooks Mount Kenya, and just like an onion, the beauty of this place reveals itself a leaf at a time. Zip lining, quad biking, kayaking, camping, horse riding and swimming are some of the activities to consider at Lalanasi. The ranch offers a cool and serene environment to relax and unwind, while chirping birds interrupt your thoughts. A perfect getaway from the hustle and bustle of urban life. The well-manicured lawns provide a perfect picnic and relaxation venue for many. Sundowner and early morning treks are also encouraged to appreciate the crisp air around this place.
Other outdoor activities such as basketball, football, volleyball. We also have a kids playground. The setup is for ranch. We have cows, we have goats, we have sheep. We also have camels and the horses as well. So people can also opt to go for a hike or a farm drive.
Ukiona tu hivi utatamani kuja, na ukikuja utatamani kukaa huku zaidi. Yani it's just very cool, it's awesome. This is the place, even to refresh the place, iko ndani, haina makelele.
At the end of your visit, you will leave here completely convinced why Ndaragwa is fast becoming a preferred location for many holidaymakers and a thrilling hotspot for fun lovers. Irene Mchuma, Udim, Magical Scenes in Ndaragwa.
How does one go about building a house in one day? Yes, you had me right. You can now have a house designed and built to your custom specifications within 24 hours thanks to an innovation using precast concrete. Tonight on Tech One, Alan Oko takes us to a new world of house building technology.
What if I told you that this entire 3-bedroom house can be built within one day? Of course, through the use of technology. Here's how.
Neuland decided at the end of 2020 to enter the Kenyan market and appointed us as MENA Africa to be their local representative in the region. As a result, we developed a show house which reached Kenya in September 2021 and has been opened by the personal secretary Charles Hinga during our launch event. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to the show house of Neuland here in Kenya. Karibu sana.
This is how it all looks in the end. A complete 2-bedroom house fitted with basic amenities. But how did it all shape up?
So as you've heard, basically this is the N3P. And the concept of N3P is this is a portable precast plant. And I'll take you very quickly through the process. Number one, why it's portable, you can move it from site to site. And it is in 40-foot containers, so we can take it to a site, build it up within 4 to 6 weeks, continue developing develop the project. Once we're complete with the project, take down the whole plant, 4 to 6 weeks also, take it to the next site.
It began here with a simple concrete pour onto a neatly measured foundation. After careful measurements and drying of the foundation, precast concrete slabs that were previously molded on site are laid into place using a crane onto predefined sections on the ground.
We have a product which is the portable precast plant, which enables mass production of housing units. We are able to reduce the construction time by up to 80%, and we are able to build at shell construction cost of 40% less than what's currently offered in the market. So the plant that we have can build or can produce about 450,000 square meters of concrete elements every year.
In this particular case, a 2-bedroom house, the precast slabs are joined into place, each having been molded specifically with the number of windows and doors where applicable.
The idea behind the concrete panel is, the key thing is our butterfly technology, and what we call our butterfly technology is, this is the butterfly mold. The butterfly mold is where we pour our concrete, and when we are pouring our concrete, we also include the rebar. And even as we are including the rebar, we include the windows, the doors, and we also include the conduits. Then we bring it into the plant, we bring it into this section here, which we call our battery, and we'll put it into the battery, and we will pour the concrete. We let it rest for 4 hours. Then from this, after 4 hours of resting here, we bring it to another section where it is going to cure for another 4 hours. After the 4 hours in this section, we take it to a curing yard for 14 to 21 days.
The time lapse of the development shows the roof coming in next, after which painting and other fittings finalize the entire project, all in one day. Alanaoko, Take One.
The government is backing on emerging technologies such as reinforcing concrete technology, prefabricated panels and use of interlocking bricks to speed up construction of affordable houses. Urban Housing Director Jane Mwangi has underscored the need for developers to move away from the traditional brick and mortar that she says is time-consuming and expensive.
World Bank report indicates that 6 out of 10 households in urban centers in Africa live in slums and without basic or adequate amenities such as electricity and water connection, as well as sanitation.
So which means that we need to look at policies, we need to look at anticipation of all those challenges to see how we can give a chance to every citizen, every member of communities to get access to decent and affordable housing.
To remedy this, developers are adopting emerging technologies, among other innovative solutions, to fast-track delivery of homes amid growing demand.
If you go to the Pangani project, for example, you'll be able to see that they're actually using the Punka formwork, which is imported from Korea, which actually enables you to move quite fast, and then it also limits issues of clustering. So there's technology that can be used to also make housing cheaper.
In recent months, adoption of new building technologies such as reinforced concrete technology, prefabricated panels, interlocking bricks, expanded polystyrene panels, precast concrete panels and ferro cement has been gaining traction in Kenya.
Yesterday, we also met the Austrian, a company from Austria that is also promoting construction technology that actually reduces construction to about 26 to 30,000 per square meter.
Over 30,000 housing units have so far been constructed under the Affordable Housing Plan through various government and private sector initiatives.
So any government that comes must realize that housing is a right, and I am sure they will be ready to move on with the program as it were. Of course, there are lessons that we have learned as we have moved on, and we expect that the regime that is going to come, we will take it up from where we have reached and progress it further.
Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Counties are on the spot for failing to employ enough internal auditors, putting public finances at risk. The Institute of Internal Auditors says some counties operate without qualified internal auditors, making it difficult to interrogate county finances. The Institute is further urging the government to strengthen the auditing functions of state entities to ensure proper utilization of public funds.
Chief Administrative Secretary Honorable David
course.
The role of internal auditors has become critical due to the rising cases of fraud, mismanagement and pilferage of public funds. Under the Public Finance Management Act 2015, all county and state agencies are required to employ certified internal auditors to scrutinize public finances. Regulation 154 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 also requires internal auditors to comply with the International Professional Practices Framework as issued by the Institute of Internal Auditors from time to time.
We are not going to achieve Vision 2030 if we are still going to be losing 30% of our estimated budget to corruption and graft. And our auditors, as I have always said, are smart enough to hold accountants to account, yet shrewd enough to help them escape within accountability. So we are here to have a conversation with them and ask them, are you being honest and patriotic in this in your service to our country? And I hope that the resounding answer from them will be yes.
The Act further gives internal auditors unrestrained access to people, resources and data required for them to be efficient and effective in their work. Speaking during the ongoing 19th annual edition of the Internal Auditors Conference, speakers at the meeting urged organizations to strengthen the role of internal auditors to ensure maximum utilization of resources. Industrialization Chief Administrative Secretary David Osiani has urged Kenyans to take advantage of services offered at Biashara centers to boost the production and marketing of their goods and services.
We not only donate the equipment to them, we also afford them the space. That has been done in Uriri, in Nyanza, it's been done in Nyandarua, it's been done in Meru, it's been done across the country. Yes, we have to tool them, but there is a way that they have to prove that first, they're working as a team. It's impossible to tool one person because then accountability will be a problem.
Biashara Center is one-stop shop for enterprises seeking public services such as business registration, tax compliance, branding and finance support. The government is planning to open 6 more centers to complement the existing 4 currently running in Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret and Nairobi. Michael Mandiga for Prime Edition, Mombasa County.
Equity Group made 11.9 billion shillings in net profit during the first 3 months of this year, representing a 36% increase that was driven by interest and non-interest income. The lender's total income increased by 21% to 30.9 billion shillings, mainly as a result of increased lending. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
The first 3 months of this year, Equity Group saw net loans growing by 28% to 623.6 billion shillings, while investments in government securities rose by 50% to 389.4 billion shillings. This powered interest earning assets to grow by 35.7%. Operating income grew by 21% to 30.9 billion shillings, while non-funded income constituted 37.2% of the operating income. During the period, Equity Group posted 11.9 billion shillings in net profit, with subsidiaries contributing 30% to the profit. Meanwhile, Kilifi and Mombasa residents are set to benefit from steady supply of water following rehabilitation of Baricho Water Project at a cost of 791 million shillings. Water Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Andrew Tuimur says the project is about 38% complete and will supply about 90,000 cubic meters of water daily.
This place supplies about 90,000 cubic meters of water. It has a potential of 180,000 cubic meters of water, so there's a lot of potential here. The aquifers here are very good, and this is actually one of our major water sources for both Kilifi and part of Mombasa.
Elsewhere, Mara, a Pan-African crypto exchange platform, has launched its services and invested 2.7 billion shillings in funding from about 100 crypto investors. The firm is banking on its platform that is not controlled by financial institutions, in that vendors and consumers can easily do transactions without being constrained to one central exchange to gain traction. Mara has announced a partnership with the Central African Republic, which passed a bill legalizing Bitcoin as a legal tender. Finally, Brighter Monday parent company Rome Jobs is seeking to expand its services portfolio by investing in its e-learning space and developing a suite of diverse, easy-to-use, self-service online products for upskilling candidates on its platform. As part of its expansion strategy, the firm has rebranded its name from Rome to the African Talent Company.
The rise in terms of new jobs, job seekers looking for better ways to be able to find these opportunities means that as TTC, we have to be able to provide the best solution to the job seekers. So we are the trusted experts to be able to deliver the simple talent solutions.
Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
Kupata lazima nishike kama skiza tune yako. Bonyeza *811 *962 hash.
Lazima nishike mapema. Nisiposhika hii simu mapema utakasirika. Unajua mimi nikiwa mtu ya marathon najua niko na experience kabisa. Niko na experience. If you don't hurry, you will not break the record. Okay, wacha nishike hii simu.
Kupata lazima nishike, bonyeza *811 *962 hash. *811 *962 hash.
Let's change gears now to sports, where Kenya's deaf golfers Isaac Makoha bagged bronze in the ongoing 24th Deaf Olympics in Brazil. Makoha braved the opposition from Golneko of Germany in the bronze playoff to become the first ever Kenyan golf medalist at the prestigious Summer Deaf Olympics.
Makoha had lost world champion and double Deaf Olympics champions John Allen in the semi-finals before braving stiff opposition from Golneko of Germany in the bronze playoff.
Yeah, I think when I was meeting Alan, the German guy, yeah, he's a very tough guy. Yeah, he was getting buddy on almost every hole. Me, I was doing pars, and this guy kept getting buddies in almost all the hole. But I did my best. He bet me. But then, you know, he's an international player. He's played European Championship. But then I'm going back home. I'll put more efforts. I'm going to train more. And when I meet him next time, I promise I'm going to beat him.
At the start, I felt a little bit behind. And then I was trying to find into my game and try to put pressure on my opponent. And he was responding very well. He played well. And I had a good run. And I tried to keep up the momentum and I tried to keep the pressure on the opponent. So I'm very happy that at the end I was able to preserve and win the gold medal again.
In the quarterfinals, the Vetlab Golf Club golfer eliminated Nelson Les. Makoha says he desires to return to the 25th Deaf Olympics stronger and also harbors an ambition to grow junior deaf golf in Kenya.
Honestly speaking, this guy, he almost beat me. Yeah, and you know, the Kenyan people have been on me. People are cheering me up from home, from all over, and I was not going to let them down. So that's why I had to do whatever it took. And I thank God that finally it is done and I have the medal.
The other representatives, Adan Wario, dropped out because of injury, while Gilbert Alikula was eliminated after finishing 18th.
Kenya Ports Authority will take on Club Olympique de Calabria in quarterfinals of the ongoing Africa Men's Volleyball Club Championship in Calabria, Tunisia. The Dockers extended their unbeaten run after seeing off VC Espoo by 3-1 in their final group match. Another Kenyan side, Equity Bank, registered their first win with 3-2 victory after Port Douala. Defending champions Esperance humbled Walaita Dicha by 3 sets, while while powerhouse Al Ahly defeated FAP by the 3-same margin. The championship will take a break before resuming on Saturday with the quarterfinals and qualifications matches. Kenya Rugby Union has parted ways with National Sevens team head coach Innocent Napko Simiu. Also leaving the Shujaa setup are technical bench members Michael Shamia and Anthony Mushiri, Damian McGrath, and they take charge of the next 2 years, loading up to 2024 Summer Olympic Games in France. Kevin Wambua, who has been part of the Shujaa setup, will assist Damian in ensuring a seamless transition, while Godfrey Kimani takes up the strength and conditioning role. Damian has previously coached German Sevens, Canada Sevens, and England Sevens. Well, that's all for tonight. One comment from John Musembi, who was asking about the young and industrious. I'm sorry we did not have it this week, but next Thursday it will resume bigger and better. From me and the rest of the team, we wish you a good night. God bless you.